Yo, welcome back to the live stream. It's your boy Tokyo Stone and we are back in business. Today we're going to be playing some Stellar Blade Uncensored New Game Plus. Special video today. This is the all-in-one, full Downpatch method guide. Everything we've learned so far, all in one place, all in one location, covering all the most important information you need to get through, as well as some, other bits and pieces that haven't made it into any of the previous guides. This video has been a popular request in the live streams, in the Telegram, and in the comments. So yeah, without any further ado, here it is. Let's get into it. Now, first things first, you want to get yourself very familiar with how save files work and the backup system works on the PS5. Your game save file is actually stored on the PS5 separately to the game itself. So if you check on your upload, download, save data, you're going to see you've got a console storage save. And if you pay for the subscription, you're also going to have a cloud storage save, right? If you delete the game from the console, your save file will still be stored in the console storage. You with me? So you can delete the game and reinstall the game as many times as you want, and it won't affect your save files. But obviously, anytime you play or interact with your save file, it's going to push it forward. To give yourself an extra layer of backup, the iCloud storage is nice because you're just able to very quickly upload or download a specific state. We're going to get into this stuff the further we get, but if you're not aware already, you'll become aware during the process of this video. There are certain things that might cause you to reload. So being able to easily back up your console or, download your save from the cloud, I think it's really helpful. I know at the beginning of all of this, everyone was canceling their PlayStation Plus subscriptions, but it's like £6 a month. It makes this much easier. I really recommend having it. Now, this is one way to back up your save file, but it does require you to be online, and it also requires you to be subscribed to PlayStation Plus. There is one more way to back up and restore your save file on the PlayStation 5. So to do that, you have to come over to settings, come down to system, hit system software. You want to come down to backup and restore, and you would either backup or restore your PS5. To do this, you do need a hard drive plugged into the PlayStation, like an external HD or SSD. In the interest of time, we won't go through the whole backup process here, but basically you would get this far, you would select your hard drives, you have the option to back up the entire console, or you could just isolate your save files and your settings. Either way, using the hard offline backup system and restore, since Sony have become control freaks and they won't let us back up to a USB anymore, and there's no memory card system, this system restore is the only way to back up your game saves for any game that is offline. One thing to keep in mind is that if you ever use these restores, you won't just be restoring your Stellar Blade save data, you'll be restoring the save data for every game you play. You'll also be restoring your videos and screenshots and the games that are installed on the console itself. So just be aware of that and kind of factor that into what you're doing. If it's important to you that you have your screenshots and video clips backed up, maybe back them up to a USB first or include them in the actual backup, so that when you restore that, everything is there, right? But I just think it's important for you to understand that if you do use this method, yes, you are restoring your save file from that specific point in time, but you're also completely wiping your PS5 back to the state that it was when you chose to back it up, and you'll only be restoring the things you chose to back up. So if you chose to ignore your games and your screenshots and videos, for example, when you hit restore, the only thing that will be restored is your settings and your save files. So just keep that in mind. It does take a long time to back up and restore. It's not a particularly quick process. It's kind of like half an hour to restore, maybe more like 45 minutes to back up. Quite a heavy duty way of getting your save files backed up, but given the limitations we have on the PlayStation 5, this is currently the only way to back up your save file offline. Now, the reason I've always recommended backing up your save files, and I continue to do it, is just because anytime you're doing anything like this in any game, it is really important to back up your save files and, to just make sure that you've got a lot of different versions so you can easily get back to a certain point. There are a lot of things here where if you're prepared to play the game as much as I am prepared to play the game, then it's not really a problem. For people that don't want to do playthroughs on top of playthroughs, or for people that are really, they've done their completionist and they don't want to lose any items, that's when I would really recommend that you back up your save. And even if you're not interested in those things, just for anyone that's trying to get their master 100% offline save file set up, which we will be getting into during this video, when you're getting your save file set up, especially during the New Game Plus area of the run, there are a lot of opportunities for you to brick your save file by maybe picking up too many beta cores, burst cores, etc, etc. Yeah, it's easily done. A lot of people have done it. We will be getting into that in more detail later on in the video on how to avoid those kind of mistakes. But still, like I said, for any type of player interacting with any of this kind of stuff, I fully recommend having backups of, once you reach a favorable state, you back it up and protect it. For example, when God mode first dropped, some people did the God mode glitch before they backed up their save files. They ended up losing their save files. So like, it's all fun and games, but just make sure you got your stuff protected, yeah? Now with those basics covered, let's move on to the first point. For the majority of players, I would always recommend downpatching during your first playthrough for the smoothest experience. For me, that works the best. You can have a completely offline playthrough, like as in you could disconnect from the internet, install from the disk, and just play completely offline. You don't have to start on updated patch if you don't want to. So while your playthrough can begin in updated patch and you could downpatch it later back to Uncensored 1.0, it gets a lot more technical if you're doing it that way. So if you're comfortable with working around all of those technicalities, then fine. But for the majority of players, I would fully recommend you want to downpatch during your first playthrough, and if possible, you just play the entire thing on downpatch. It greatly reduces the risk of you bricking your save file, and it just allows for a really smooth experience where you're just going to have a good time, and a lot of the problems that other players have been running into, you're not going to experience them because you're just going to be going straight offline from the get-go. Right, so one of the most important things, and probably something that's been hitting the most of you, a lot of people have gotten caught out on this. It did take a long time for us to figure out exactly how this worked. I'd like to give a big thank you to Transporter, Daniel Yang, and Andy Doto. Those guys there were all very helpful in us really identifying what it is that bricks your stats on the way down. You know, it took a lot of us playing a lot of times and just testing a lot of things back to back to really come to grips with it. So we finally got it locked down. And if you have tried to do the down patch and there's been anything wrong with your character, your account, your HP's gone to 0, your beta's gone to 0, your attack has gone to 0, or your heals have disappeared, this is why. What you're looking at here as far as HP, beta, and attack power, these are the max stat caps for 1.0. On updated patch, you are able to push your max HP past 5,000. You're able to push your max beta past 2,200, and you're able to raise your attack power way past 1,050. You also are able to unlock more than 8 tumblers. Because 1.0 doesn't have any of that in the code, yeah, 1.0's maximum HP is 5,000. The maximum beta is 2,200. The maximum attack available in this version of the game is 1,050, and the total amount of heals you're going to be able to unlock is 8. So if you spend any time in Uppatch and for whatever reason your HP goes past 5,000, your beta goes past 2,200, or your attack power goes past 1,050, or your tumblers go past 8, your stats are going to be broken when you downpatch. That's why it's not working for you. You're already too strong for this. Something you have to keep in mind is that 1.3 is an easier version of the game. And so in it being an easier version, you have higher health, you have higher attack, you have higher beta, and you have more heals. So if your character is scaled to that version of the game and you try to bring them back down into 1.0, the game doesn't know how to read your character's save file anymore because your stats don't make sense to the game. That's why the game bricks your character and puts you back down to the basic level. If this happens to you, it's very easy to fix it. You just need to go back onto Uppatch and your stats will return to normal. One thing to keep in mind is that if you're trying to perform downpatch and this is what's happening to you, as in you're downpatching and your stats are breaking, at that point that save file is no longer compatible with downpatch. You could downpatch with your broken stats and just play the game anyway. As far as trying to get like a real experience with real stats, now that you're leveled that high, that save file is just not going to work for downpatch. So unfortunately in that situation you would have to either load a previous save file where your stats are in line, or you would just have to start a new game from the beginning and just play on downpatch like that. So in that scenario you would have your 1.2 save file backed up and you would start a new game where you would play on downpatch. And so yeah, just to make it very, very clear, the maximum HP that's available on 1.0 is 5,000 HP. The maximum beta is 2,200. The maximum attack is 1,050. And the maximum amount of heals or tumblers is 8. When I show you the tumblers, I'm talking about in the bottom left hand corner of the screen. You see it says the number 8. And if you come over to the repair console, your tumbler enhancement upgrade is right here. As you can see, it says max enhancement and we have 8 available. That's because on 1.0, 8 is the maximum you have access to. So yeah, before we move on, I'll just run that through one more time. That's 5,000 HP, 2,200 beta, 1,050 attack, and 8 tumblers. Those are the maximum stat limitations for 1.0. If your stats are higher than those stats I just quoted, it's not going to work. Now, most of you are going to be aware of this already, and if you're not aware, we're just going to let you know that to raise your max HP and your beta energy, you need to pick up cores, right? If you don't know what the cores look like on the map, these are the cores. If you see these fallen air squad members and they're shining like this, that means they're going to give you either a body core or a beta core. In the game, the only cores that can be dropped are health and beta. So if you're at 5,000 health or 2,200 beta, you kind of want to stop picking up cores so that you don't brick your thing. Another thing to keep in mind, I call them ghost cores. In 1.0, once your stats are maxed out, if you pick up any cores, you'll see the animation of your character picking them up, but nothing's going to show on the screen to let you know that your stats have changed. That doesn't mean that nothing's happening. 1.0 is not going to reflect any change in your character, but as soon as you up patch, if you've picked up too many of these ghost cores, because your save file remembers that you picked them up, when you go to up patch, your stats will just jump to whatever they're supposed to be. So I fully recommend you pick up cores until you've hit the max stat requirements. Once you've hit the maximum stats, you completely ignore cores and you just stop picking them up, you stop interacting them, you treat them like they're not there. Now we're just going to interact with this one.
May your memories live on.
We're just going to pick up this core over here to give you an example so you can see what I'm talking about.
May your memories live on forever.
So look, we just picked up that beta core. Our max beta energy is still at 2,200. What's actually happened is that behind the scenes, even though our max beta energy still says 2,200, that's no longer accurate on this save file now that we've picked up that item. Our maximum beta energy is now higher than that, and once this save file interacts with up patch, our beta energy is going to jump and it's going to brick the save. So that's why I'm explaining to you, it's very easy to mess your stats up once you are at max stats. Just stop picking up cores and you're going to be fine. Sometimes you'll pick up cores and nothing will show up on the screen, but it still registers to your save file. So just be aware of that. I'm really running that home because I ran into that myself, because I used to like picking up the cores because it's just a fun thing to do. Someone else who runs this, Andy Doto, he ran into the same issue where he was picking up cores just because, you know, why not? But don't do that, okay? You're going to mess your save file up. As you just saw me pick up that core, right, which would have bricked this save file. Just say that happens to you by mistake. You're trying to get your save file set up and you've just picked up a core by accident. What you would want to do is head over to settings, go to gameplay, and then come down to restart from checkpoint. And as you can see, I'm going to restart from about 8 minutes ago. So anything that I just picked up is going to be wiped, and I'm going to be back to where I was before anything happened. See, look, as you can see, we're back at the repair console where we were earlier in the video. So yeah, if you ever do pick up anything by accident and you realize that you've just bricked your save by messing up your stats or something like that, you literally just want to hit pause, come over to settings, go to gameplay, and then restart from checkpoint. If for whatever reason restart from checkpoint is not taking you back far enough to fix your save, you would back out, and that's when you would check your upload, download, save data, and you would try and use this to save you. If you've done the in-game checkpoint reload, if you've checked your upload, download, save data, and neither of them are going to help you, that's when you would go all the way back, come over to settings, you would hit up the system, and that's when you would come down to backup and restore, and that's when you would restore your PS5 using the backup that we made earlier. There was one thing I would recommend more than anything, is basically just spend all of your time in 1.0. The more time you spend in up patch, the more risk you are putting your save file at of bricking it. And so I just want you to see here that, as you can see, you know, this beta core is refreshed. You saw us pick this up a minute ago. So yeah, you know, I just wanted to show you, you know, it does happen. You wouldn't be the first player to pick up a body or a beta core by accident and end up, you know, bricking the current version of your save. The easiest way to fix that in most scenarios is just to hit the options menu, come over to settings, hit gameplay, and restart from checkpoint. And so yeah, before moving on to the next major point, like, I just want to really make clear, spending as much time as possible in version 1.0 is the easiest way to reduce your risk to any of this stuff. Like, for example, over upgrading the tumbler, over upgrading your attack power, also the amount of cores you need to upgrade your tumbler. Anytime you are in up patch, you just interact with as little as possible. Most items and stuff in up patch is probably not going to cause any problems for your save file, but I just feel like I've seen so many players have so many different problems. So I definitely recommend, if you are trying to be a 1.0 down patch player, you would spend as little time as possible in up patch. And whenever you are in up patch, you interact with nothing, basically. As a down patch player, the only reason you have to be on 1.3 is to get access to the New Game Plus menu, to get past the Stalker softlock, and to unlock the Uncensored Kunoichis. If you're not doing one of those three things, you have zero reason to be in up patch. If you choose to interact with anything at 1.3, I would say you're definitely, like, you're doing that at your own risk, and you are running the chance of bricking your save. So far we know about the stat limitations, and we know that there's no Mark II gears in version 1.0. But that doesn't mean there aren't other things that will break your save file that we haven't discovered yet. And that also doesn't mean that in new updates there won't be, you know, new items or changes to items that will cause things to, you know, have issues with save file compatibility. So yeah, as a rule, you spend as little time in up patch as possible, and when you are in up patch, you don't look at anything, you don't talk to anything, you don't pick anything up. You just get in, you get what you need, and you get out. Alright, so we've gone over backing up your save files. We covered about the best times to down patch, stat limitations, and the ghost cores. We're going to move on how to access Uncensored New Game Plus. Any of the stuff in this video that I'm skipping over, it's because we've already done detailed guides for it on the channel. There's going to be links in the description and a pinned comment just giving you links to any of the guides, just so, like I said, if there's anything you're unfamiliar with, you can check it there. A lot of you guys watching at this point are already going to be very familiar with down patching and stuff like that, so we're just going to be hitting the most important points here. But anything you're unfamiliar with, links in the description, check the pinned comment, you're going to be fine. So yeah, a lot of people got stuck trying to access New Game Plus, because at the end of the game, when they kill the final boss, they get confused that they are back at the nest. I'm just going to clarify now. What you would like to happen is you want to defeat the final boss, the ending is going to roll, and you're going to get your credits and your cutscenes. Once your cutscene is done, then you click on continue, your character is going to wake back up at the nest, which is the end game area, right? Just prior to the final boss fight. Some people get there and they think that they're trapped, like something's wrong with their save file or something. That's actually not the case. You've just completed the game. So all you need to do at that point, you would just up patch to gain access to the New Game Plus menu. You would grab New Game Plus and you would just select your save file, which is at the nest. So yeah, accessing Uncensored New Game Plus, it basically works exactly the same as the regular down patch method. It's just the point of the game where it works. You must be at the nest and you must have just defeated the final boss, or, you know, already be in New Game Plus. So yeah, to access Uncensored New Game Plus, you would run through the game, you know, for the first time. Once you've beaten the final boss and your character's at the nest, you up patch, you click on the New Game Plus menu, you select your save file, and that's going to bring you back to the beginning of the game. As soon as you land on the beach, you can quit out, close the game, delete it, reinstall from the disk offline. You're going to be back on version 1.0 and you'll be in your New Game Plus save file. There is a very detailed guide on how to do that in the pinned comment. So if you're not sure how to down patch yet, then please go and watch that guide after watching this one for a detailed step-by-step walkthrough. So the next thing we're going to cover is how to get past the Stalker softlock. The Stalker softlock is only present on New Game Plus, and I'm going to show you the locations where you need to up patch and down patch to get around it. As you can see, this save file has broken the Stalker softlock. So when you're playing Matrix 11, this part of the game, this is the rest point. When you find this rest point, you're going to back out of the game and you're going to up patch. Again, there'll be a video in the pinned comment, but you just want to back out, close the game, check for update, get onto up patch. I am of course currently on 1.0, but if you wanted to check your version, you come down for information. You'd make sure that the version you're on is the current updated patch. You then just want to come this way. Obviously, just like in the demo, once you come in here, you're going to have your Stalker boss fight. Once you defeat the Stalker on current patch, the softlock will disappear. If you do defeat the Stalker on 1.0, you're not going to be able to progress past this room because there'll be a barrier surrounding the place. So yeah, to get past the Stalker softlock, you up patch when you're downstairs. Once you've defeated the Stalker and you are successfully past the softlock, you would just back out, delete the game, reinstall from the disk offline, and that's the full method on how you get past the Stalker softlock. Again, if you need more details on that, links in the pinned comment. Go and check it out after the video, and that's going to show you step by step how to get past. If you're already stuck here and you've already killed the Stalker and you're trapped behind the softlock, it doesn't matter, your save file's not gone, you can still fix it. You just need to up patch, and instead of up patching to defeat the Stalker, you would hit New Game Plus, and you would use that New Game Plus to bring your save file back to the beginning of the game. You'd have to run back to the Stalker, and just to get past him this time, you would up patch, down patch. You'll be fine. So yeah, to get Lily to 100% on every playthrough, there's only 4 side quests you need to do. You want to be doing Oblivion and Taboo. You pick up both of those missions in Zion, and they take you back to IDOS 7. You also want to pick up the Thinking of You mission, which is for Enya. You also pick that up in Zion. And the last mission you're going to need is Fallen Angel, which you pick up in the Great Desert. Again, links in the description and the pinned comment on a fully detailed guide showing you where to pick up those quests, how to finish them, etc, etc. But yeah, the trick to getting Lily to 100% is not just to finish those 4 quests, which again is Oblivion, Taboo, Thinking of You, and Fallen Angel. You also want to be scanning these guys. You need lots of lore. So like anybody you see like this, any blue items you see on the map, so like these guys are all dropping lore. This is going to be filling up Lily's meter. Also picking up cans is good for filling up Lily's meter. And any of these blue flashy items, this is all lore. So picking up this will also help to increase Lily's meter. If you are playing on Uncensored 1.0, you're going to notice that there is no Lily meter on the screen, but it is happening behind the scenes. So long as you pick up enough lore, and you scan enough NPCs around the map, and you do the 4 missions I mentioned, Oblivion, Taboo, Thinking of You, and Fallen Angel, that should be enough to get you to 100%. And consistently for me, on like every single playthrough, I always get 100%. I always get the true ending, and that's how I do it. Those 4 side quests, plus scanning bodies, plus picking up lore, you're good to go. So now that you know how to do all of that, we're just gonna say you need to know how to do your multiple save files. Now as you can see here, I've got 2 separate save files. You can't make multiple saves from the same slot. Each save file has to be unique. So like these 2 save files represent 2 separate playthroughs. So setting up a second save file is not going to be for everyone. This is for people who really enjoy the game, and typically I'd say for people who want to set up their 100% offline, which we're about to get into now. So yeah, just so you know, to make a new save file, you just hit New Game, select your difficulty. You have to get through the opening cutscene, which on New Game is unskippable, but it doesn't take that long. Oh, I just realized the first thing you do in the game is take someone's hand, and the last thing you do in the game is choose if you want to take their hand or not. That's pretty interesting. So now that you've loaded into the game, it's gonna back out. Now you see we've got 3 save files. We got the new one we just created. We've got our New Game Plus at the start, and we've got our Matrix 11 New Game Plus. Right, and so why would you want to create a second save file? So we're gonna get into that right now. The reason why you would create 2 save files for the game is because this is how you create a 100% offline New Game Plus experience. And this is how you protect the game from future patches and other types of save file incompatibility that might come up. You need 1 New Game Plus save file that's at the Star Descent, right, which is, yeah, as you can see, the very beginning of the game. And you want another save file which is at the Matrix 11 just after the Stalker softlock. So that way, if you were offline or disconnected from the internet for whatever reason, or if the save file incompatibility had been bricked in the future, what you would do is you would have the first half of your game connected to this save file. Once you defeat the Stalker, you would just roll from here onwards, and that's how you finish the game. You would have this save file backed up to the cloud and backed up to a hard drive, and anytime you wanted to start again, you would just reinstall your save and you just run it back. And that's how you protect your game from future patches and save file incompatibility. There'll be a separate video on the channel coming out soon just showing you how to get your second save file set up quickly, and so it doesn't take too long to get everything that you want to get. But yeah, for offline players, being able to create more than 1 save, this is one of the most overpowered things you would do with it, because this just means that there's no anxiety or anticipation. Whatever the future brings as far as patches, patch changes, there's nothing anyone can do to take your Uncensored New Game Plus experience away from you once you've got it set up in this way. Right, so now let's check out some recommended builds for Uncensored Patch, because Uncensored Patch plays very differently to vanilla. Right, so my build of choice for the majority of the game is going to be a Beta Trance Exo Spine, maxed out. a burst trance exo spine maxed out, 2 attack speed gears, a beta charge gear, and a beta recovery gear. A very powerful build in that you have a lot of beta energy and increased beta damage. You have a lot of burst energy with increased burst damage and recharge. You have a lot of attack speed, which is helping you get damage out and recharge your energy faster. On top of that, you also have a beta charge and a beta recovery. So it doesn't matter whether you're dealing damage or receiving damage, your beta energy is going up. You could swap your burst trance out for a reflex type or a chain type, or whichever type suits your playstyle. If you're struggling to get to grips with certain boss combos or patterns, I would recommend the reflex type, but I would definitely say you want to use the reflex type to learn how the parry system works, and once you've got it figured out, you would like to trade the reflex in for something that gives you more damage, like the impact, the chain, and or the burst. Now when I'm fighting against Providence, sometimes I will put a 3-star shield penetration gear, just because Providence has a lot of shield, and so being able to pierce it was pretty useful. And so another gear that I would engage with the first few times I fought him for the Elden Atiba, I would use the beta recovery and the burst recovery, because he was hitting me with a lot of damage, and all of that damage was getting converted into energy. I'll definitely recommend to you guys, if there's a boss that's hitting you a lot and you're taking a ton of damage, try putting on some recovery gears and just seeing how much energy you end up with, you know, after they finish hitting you with their combos. So yeah, for Providence, you're gonna go beta, burst, double attack speed, beta charge, and shield pen. For Elden Atiba, you're gonna go again with the beta, the burst, the attack speed. I use 2 recovery gears against Elden Atiba, but if you're good at, you know, timing him and not taking damage, by all means swap this out for something a bit more aggressive. And then like I said, for everything else and all other situations, you know, dungeons, trash mobs, all other bosses, beta trance, burst trance, double attack speeds, beta charge, and beta recovery. So yeah, those are the 3 builds that I've used to beat the game, and I've never needed any other build. Those 3 builds, they do the job, and they're a lot of fun. So just check them out if you're struggling with any of the enemies. Right, so now that we've covered all of that, we're just going to do a quick demonstration just showing you that the God mode glitch still works in this version of the game. If you don't know how to do God mode glitch, you just come over to the repulse and you enter the training. When the sword flashes pink or purple, we have to press up. There you go, we're falling, and as you can see, God mode is still alive in version 1.0. When you die, you just want to hit square to revive, and now you're back on the map with the stuff. You hit down to activate your infinite energy. You hit up to get your health back. Hit the options menu to get rid of all the stuff on the screen. Back out, and now you are in God mode. Infinite energy. Now one thing to point out about God mode is that it does completely break your save file. So you definitely want to be backed up before you do this. You know, if you haven't backed up your save file, don't do God mode. You know, make sure everything is backed up. As you can see, my attack power has been set back to 450. If you come over here, you can raise it back up. But if you die, or like, you know, you have to trigger the God mode again, your attack power will go back to 450. So God mode is a great glitch. It is a lot of fun. It is still available in this version of the game. It's not really necessary in this video as far as like, you know, offline 100% guide, but given that God mode is part of the shenanigans you get access to by being a Downpatch player, I just thought it was worth including in this video, if for the memes, you know, if for nothing else. Right, so we're very nearly done with all of the important points. We are going to go straight into a fully all uncensored costume showcase and collector's edition. Right, so if you are playing on uncensored version, obviously there's a lot of reasons as to why you might want to play 1.0 rather than up patch, but one of those reasons is probably going to be the uncensored costumes. So we're just going to go through them so you guys know what you're getting yourself into. First uncensored costume you're probably going to unlock is going to be the Holiday Rabbit. You pick this one up in the Wasteland, so you can get it really early on. Once you unlock the Great Desert, you're also going to have access to the uncensored Cybernetic Bondage, the uncensored Blue Monsoon. The Black Wave is not uncensored, but I really do recommend it for players of any version of the game. I think it's really cool. And you also get my favorite costume in the game, the Autonetic Bondage. These are all available from the Great Desert, although to get Autonetic Bondage, you will have to unlock it on your second playthrough, as in New Game Plus. This one is not available in New Game. You also get access to the 2 new uncensored costumes, the White Kunoichi and the Black Kunoichi. Now to unlock these costumes, all you need to do is just let your save file interact with 1.3. If you up patch to 1.3, turn on the game, load on your save file. You don't have to touch anything. You can just downpatch and they'll be there when you downpatch again. They're just content that was locked on the disk at launch, so it's on the disk. You just need to uppatch to make the disk remember that the kunoichis are there, basically. As you can see here, you do get access to the pre-order diving suit. You also get access to the deluxe edition Stargazer suit. And although it was censored, the Ocean Maid also made the cut. A lot of people on the channel like this costume, and yeah. So just to be clear, the costumes that are actually uncensored on this version of the game are the autonetic bondage, the black kunoichi, the blue monsoon, the cybernetic bondage, the holiday wrap, and the white kunoichis. Now this is going to require a video on its own, so I'm not going to force all of that information in right here, but I will just touch on it briefly, and that's basically how to get your character set up quickly. I'm sure all of you will have a save file like this, which is like your mega playthrough save, yeah? If you try to set up the 100% offline experience, you're going to need to create a second save file. You're not going to want to spend hundreds of hours doing that because you've already done that, right? So on this save file, you're just trying to streamline the experience. If you're not trying to spend too much time doing it, then you can just drop the difficulty down to story mode. In the settings, you can turn off the action assist as well, which means that like when you're fighting, the little pop-ups don't happen, and it just makes it a bit smoother. Just run through the new game as quickly as possible so that you unlock New Game Plus. Now you have access to the New Game Plus moves, etc. If you want to level up quickly, you can farm, but I also recommend just doing a bunch of side quests, because side quests can give a lot of experience points. So yeah, the most important thing on your second save file is just that you have access to New Game Plus. Anything you want on this save file, you make sure you get it, as in like specific costumes, specific gears, maybe it's a hairstyle you like, you know, if there's anything that you really want locked in on the save file, you just take time to go and collect those key things. You're not necessarily making a collectathon out of this. You're not trying to get everything in the game. You just want the things that matter to you. And so looking at the skill trees, I'm just going to point out some of the most important ones. So obviously, Infinite Wave is the most important attack in the game. Infinite Slash is also pretty good. Infinite Pierce is pretty good. Tempest is one of the best attacks in the game. Descending Break. Right, and so the very last thing we're going to talk about is how the Japanese save files work. There's going to be a separate video for that too, because it deserves one. And also I'm currently installed on the international version, so I can't show you a complete demonstration. If you have an international save file and you import it across to the Japanese one, if you try to back up from the Japanese version, it's not going to back up because the Japanese one's just not going to respect your save file. So for everyone that's bought the Japanese version of the game to experience the Japanese voices, what you guys need to understand is that if you started on international or Japanese for that matter, whatever version you started on, that's where your save files are going to be like locked to. That's the version that your save files are connected to. So any progress you make or anything you want to back up, you want it to be backed up on that version of the game. As in, I started on international. If I want to update my save file to maybe pick up a new costume to add to the collection, etc., all of that has to be done on international version. Because if I do it on Japanese and I try to back up from Japanese, nothing's going to happen. My save file is going to disappear. You can build up your save file on the international version and then import your save file across and enjoy running around in Japanese with all of your stuff. But what I would not recommend is like jumping halfway and trying to play half of it in international, half of it in Japanese. Because when it's time to back up, nothing's going to be there. Alright? And like I said, the Japanese save file system will get its own video because it's quite the topic. And like I said, it does deserve a bit of attention. Alright then. I mean, that was a lot today, but I'm pretty sure we got through it. That's the full guide. That's all the source. Stellar Blade, Uncensored New Game Plus, full guide. Everything you need to know about, you know, how to get downpatched. If you've been having any trouble, I'm pretty sure your answer should be in this video. If there's anything in this video you don't understand how to do, check the links in the pinned comment. I'm going to make sure that all of the guides are linked so that it's easy for you to just click on the link and find the stuff you need. And yeah, I hope you found the video useful. I hope you found it helpful. Stay lit, stay G. The Waves Volume 1, Oceans, links in the description on that too. Go and bump the album. That's a great way to support the channel. Have fun downpatching and enjoying these downpatch shenanigans. We're having a great time over here. 1.0 is a fantastic way to play the game. If you are on uppatch, I hope you're having a good time, enjoying the rare new costumes and all the other cool stuff that's going on. We are, of course, streaming the game basically every day at this point on the channel. If you want to be there when we're figuring out this stuff live, if you got any questions or if you're just enjoying the vibes, make sure you hit subscribe, notifications, all of that good stuff, or be a part of us figuring out all of this stuff as it happens. Alright, so that's it for me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care of yourselves. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.